Hello, this is David Flanders from the OpenStack Foundation, and today I'm here with Marcella from Intel. Where are you joining us from today, Marcella?
Hey, I'm here in Intel in Guadalajara, Mexico.
Which is absolutely lovely. I had the pleasure of being there. What was feels like a longer time ago, but it was only about a month or two ago, where we had a fantastic hackathon.
Yeah.
And I think what's exciting to kind of jump right into the screencast is, Marcella, the thing you're going to show us today was really useful during the hackathon or for future hackathons, because it allows people to get up and going really quick with being able to use OpenStack clouds from other clouds. So you want to tell us a little bit about what you've got in store for us, what we're going to learn by watching this screencast?
Yeah, sure. During the hackathon, I was like a trainer and many other roles. But as a training, I discovered that when you are developing, the environment is a crucial part because where we were delivering different pre-trainings for the hackathons, developers have different setups. So we lost a lot of time preparing the environment to work, in this case with Shade, to have the environment for Python, the OS config, the
Mhm.
version for Python, right? So I decided to create this Docker image so everybody can just use it and have a shaded environment, and so developers only focus on the code, not in the environment.
And that's really cool. Marcel, if you want to switch over to your IDE so we can show what you're talking about and all the rest of it. And like I was saying, I think this is one of the kind of the coolest things about this future as we talk about more cloud applications starting to emerge in the environment. Of course, application developers, application engineers want to use their applications on different clouds. And they want the widest possibility so as many users as possible can use them. And of course, what's exciting about that is not only are you an OpenStack, you want to be able to use other clouds, but most importantly, being able to not get locked into one of those other clouds, to be able to use a Docker cloud and then be able to shift into OpenStack like you're about to show, so that you can leverage not just containers but VMs and all the other capabilities which OpenStack has. So I'm very excited to show this off. What are we going to look at next, Marcelo? Are we going to have a look at the image, or are you going to walk us through the IDE? What are you going to show us practically here?
Yeah, let me share my screen. 1 second.
And I'll load up some stuff as well. Um, One of the
Yeah.
cool things that we'll actually be doing coming up is we've got the OpenStack Summit happening soon, and a very large group of us, more and more of the community around application developers, people like Marcella, leaders in the community, are really starting to try to think new ways of being able to work with cloud applications. And so there's a full list of these things as I've been going around the community and chatting with them. So I think this is a really fun one as we start to see, especially capabilities like Kubernetes, Docker, Mesos. These are all being built on top of OpenStack alongside the more traditional virtual machine platforms, as well as additional passes, platform as a service, HPC, all these other services that are being built on top of OpenStack. All right, cool, Marcelo. We've got the Docker Hub up, and talk us about this. What is OpenStack Shade first and foremost?
Yeah, OpenStack Shade is a Python SDK, so you can use it to communicate with the OpenStack APIs, and you can use it. I mean, you can just use as a Python code and create your application. And Shade has different methods for use all the most used APIs in very easy way. You can use different clouds, and you have a file with the credentials. And well, Shade is a very easy to use SDK to play with OpenStack to create your apps.
Yep, and people
So
really like it. I mean, it gives you a whole world of data centers to be able to use. So,
mhm.
Marcella, you going to get this up and going for us and just show us how easy it is to actually start this thing and then immediately start pointing it at other OpenStack data centers around the world? What are you going to show us?
Sorry, I think I lose you.
Oh, whoops. Well, that's you gotta love the web. I was just gonna ask,
Okay.
what are you gonna show us how to do with this image so that we can get going and start using Shade and using this container with Shade in it so that it can start pointing at other data centers, OpenStack powered data centers around the world. Are you gonna show us how to get it up and going?
Yeah, sure. So let's get started. So first, the image is public on Docker Hub. You can see my user here, Bonel, and this is the image Docker OpenStack Shade. So here I have the instructions for just to pull the image from Docker Hub. It's very easy. Or you can build it using my code. It's also published in GitHub. So here, my idea is to create different Docker files for Morse SDKs. For example, next I will create a Docker image for use PHP Open Cloud. So here you will find later more folders with the different Docker files, so you can see what it's inside, and you can be part of it. You can contribute to the code. So you can build directly with the Docker file or just pull the image for Docker Hub. Here I have the instructions also for run it. Or in case that you want to work with volumes in Docker is the first step.
Oh, fantastic. And so this ties into your other lessons as well. And I know we don't have a lot of time today, but I'd really love us to work on a lesson on this and see if we can't start to build this into some of the OpenStack Academy training that everybody's starting to build on this. Are you going to be able to show us, excellent, you got an IDE up, you're going to show us some working code. Cool.
Yeah, sure. In my case, I already have pulled the image. So as you can see, I have already here ready to use my image here, OpenStack Shade.
So right now, Marcela, are you root inside of the Docker Hub right now? Where are you running your Docker image right now? Where's it at?
This is just my terminal. Right now I'm in my terminal, and I just pulled the image from Docker Hub. That's why I have the image here listed.
Cool. So you pulled it down from Docker Hub, which is the static image with all the libraries and codes you need as per what you showed us in the GitHub repo. So, right, next step.
Yeah. Once you have the image available, just run it. You can, as I say, you can use it very easy with this command, or in case that you want to use volume to work when you're in the container and store all your files in your local machines. This is a good idea in case that you want to keep working and don't lose data.
Yeah, right. Okay. So you're going to run that for us?
Yeah.
Cool.
So I can hear the instructions, Docker run. I will add the volume and run my image. So basically what is happening here is I'm in the container. So the first thing that the container does is install, well, the image has Ubuntu, is based on Ubuntu, install Shade and all the dependencies. So right now I pull in the, I have in the container and the config file, for example. You have a file where you put your credentials of your cloud.
Yeah, and so this is where we start to, you can watch other lessons on this. I'm assuming this is the OS Cloud Config library, which is another Python library, which as we can see on the screen there, you've got a file in your directory called clouds.yaml, which is a nice way to be able to list all your credentials for any OpenStack cloud around the world, and that's interoperable. So in that file, you could have Intel's cloud, you have the OSIC cloud, you could have Rackspace cloud, you can have a lot of different clouds listed in there, which gives you your own entrance to be able to start accessing any of the OpenStack powered data centers around the planet. And there's a growing number of them, more and more. stay tuned for announcements in Barcelona. They've got some really exciting announcements for how big OpenStack clouds have gotten now. Okay, so you're now loading your clouds.yaml file, which will give you access to a cloud. Which cloud are you accessing, Marcela?
Yeah, the advantage of the container is that they have already the clouds put there, so you don't need to create it. So I have only a template list, so you can write your credentials here. I will use an OSIC account.
And so
let me
OSIC
paste
is
my
the
credentials.
OpenStack Innovation Center. It's a jointly funded, really cool thing happening. I think they're based in San Antonio, and it's a joint between Rackspace and Intel. Is that right, Marcela?
Yeah, they are
Cool.
working on upstream development of OpenStack. So they
Excellent.
have a cluster for developers. So I'm using just one of the accounts that we use in the hackathon for this demonstration. So when you run the container, you have the cloud file ready, but you need to put your credentials.
And you can find these credentials on any OpenStack cloud, actually. It's really quite easy.
Yeah.
If you go to the dashboard and once you create your account, it's usually, if you just go into Access and Security, there's a tab if you're in the default OpenStack dashboard. I mean, some clouds create their own dashboards, but for the most part, if you look for Access and Security and then look for API endpoints, you should find an endpoint called Keystone, which is the name of our security project, or a lot of clouds just call it security, and you should get some kind of HTTP URL which will actually point you to the endpoint. Now, of course, Marcela here is just entering her username and details for the OSIC cloud. And yeah, it looks like you got the next thing ready for us, Marcela.
Yes, once you have your credentials ready, the container has all the dependencies to run Shade. So in this case, I have an example ready to use. And this test that use Shade only for list the available images in the cloud, in this case in the OSIC cloud. So you as developer using this container, you don't need to worry about dependencies. You just to put your code there and run it.
Yep, it is really that simple, and we're getting that. It's fantastic. Marcela did a brilliant usability study with her team at Intel on application developer usability of the different APIs, and Shade really shone through as the one that's really the easiest. So you've obviously requested a certain type of image, which I believe you said was Ubuntu, and obviously we're seeing some debug code there, or some it's being verbose, so it's telling everybody obviously that the image has been created, here's the IDs for the images, here's the attached volumes, and everything else that you've got kind of set up there, yes?
Yeah, so the developer only have to put the scripts and run it, and the container, we have everything ready to make it possible. You only first run the container, put your credentials, run your code, and enjoy.
Excellent. Love it. Couldn't be easier. Cool. Yeah. So what has that set up the you mentioned the data stuff as well, the data volumes and the local stuff. So is that caching your local work to your workspace, or what's the kind of setup, the configuration you've set up there?
Yes, when I run the container, I specified that a folder inside the container, the workspace folder, will point to my local system. So in this case, I'm here in this is my actual local system. So as you can see, here is my test py. So if in case I create another file, oh sorry, sudo
super user do.
It will ready also in my container, ready to use.
Cool. And at this point, I'll also recommend that people check out your other screencast, Marcela, on being able to save away your data as volumes, because obviously this is your workspace, but there's no reason why your container can't talk to a volume like a project. We've got Cinder inside of OpenStack, which is block storage, and allows you those containers to be working all over the place and to be stateless and to break, and heal themselves, but at the same time, they've got to store their data everywhere somewhere. And Marcelo's got a cool screencast about how to be able to use volume storage so that those containers can talk to a central storage state, and then that way the workers can live and die without destroying the application.
Yeah, especially during trainings that you are learning, so you create different script, and imagine that you close your container, you will lose everything, but if you use a volume, you have always your data safe and ready to use in different containers.
Well, cool. Do you have anything else you want to show us, Marcela?
No, just go to Docker Hub and start using that image, or you can contribute to have more Docker image for application developers in OpenStack to promote the SDK usage in developers. So that's it. Just use it, and feedback is welcome, contribution is welcome, and I hope everybody can use it and take advantage of this, because we during the hackathon was very difficult to set up everything, and now we have this. I hope that people that will run other hackathons will use it and just focus on code and don't worry about the environment and libraries and stuff.
Exactly. Just that's what developer. We just want to get on with it and start building the things for our users so that they can use. And again, people should definitely get involved. Marcela's one of the many fantastic leaders who are kind of pushing forward the way that application developers and application engineers can build cloud applications. So I of course can't recommend high enough to get involved. Say hi to Marcela on Twitter or wherever, and that would be fantastic. So thank you once again, Marcela, for joining me and for doing this quick screencast, and look forward to doing the next one with you.
Thank you, Flanders.
Cool, take care. We'll chat later.
Yeah.